And welcome to the Rye Five. I'm your host, Rye Snide. I'm joined here today with my cousin.
AC.
How you doing, man?
I'm Jim Dandy, friend. How are you
I'm
today?
I'm doing well. Just just keeping up the grind. So
All day,
today,
every day. Mm-hmm.
today we've got kind of a continuous from a previous episode. We had done the dessert pies. Today we're doing savory pies, and actually it was
This is
more
love. It's meat pies.
meat pies. Now they're generally a meal on their own. Now you might want to pair it maybe with some beer, or maybe a salad with all the carbs and calories that you're encountering. But
Yeah.
now, as far as it might be a little different, I got some honorable mentions, but some not so honorable mentions as well, as far as
Not
from
so
from my
honorable. Oh boy.
on my part. Now, I think did you we'll do I guess we'll start with the honorable mentions and then move on to the five. Now I'll start with an honorable mention on my end that sounded really good. And it was the spanakopita. Have you had that before?
I have had a spanakopita, and that was going to be one of my honorable mentions as
What?
well.
No
Now,
way.
now they're pretty good depending on what kind you get, but there's more than one kind as far as size wise goes, because they go all the way from like a full on pie to like a miniature pie to almost like an empanada like thing. It's
Okay.
crazy, but they're like if you've ever been to Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've been to Starbucks.
Okay, so they have their own fake version of it. It
Okay.
it's okay. I wouldn't pay $10 for it, but
That's that. Yeah, that's fair. That's generally when you're walking into Starbucks. Generally, you can't really leave without spending $10. But
yeah.
but
I'd like a black coffee, please. Oh, that's $10.
right.
No, no, no. I don't want cream. I don't want sugar. I don't want anything in it. Just a black coffee.
Just need
Mm-hmm.
hot beam water. That's it. That's
Yes, I've also taken the liberty to spit in it for you.
it. Now, as far as did you have any other honorable mentions?
Oh man. Well, let's see. There's always the hot pocket, which is a form of pie.
Whoa,
It's an
I I did not even think about that.
it's just a mass-produced pocket pie.
That's so true. That is so true. I didn't even think about that. Now, which one is like which one's your favorite?
Now, my absolute favorite one. I mean, I can't find it anywhere, but it's that barbecue beef.
Oh, I think I remember which one you're talking about. So the one that I was thinking of, I guess I thought that it had some cheese in it, but I guess so. The specific one that you were looking at, it does not have cheese. It's just
No,
barbecue beef.
yeah, just barbecue beef, and I mean, it's got that tangy sweet, but it's also savory at the same time. It's just
That
perfection.
that's true. In Hot Pockets, they recently, if I'm not mistaken, they upgraded their crusts. I think they've got like a garlic crust now on
Yeah,
some of them. Um,
there's I want to say now there's like 5 or 6 different variants on the crust. There's classic, flaky, garlic, pretzel, and I want to
True,
say
they do have the
hearty.
pretzel one too. I think if I had to pick a favorite one, it would probably be the Philly cheesesteak one. That one's probably my favorite, or just the traditional ham and cheese. You can't go wrong with just the ham and cheese.
That's true. That's probably my second favorite is the ham and cheese, simply
Just
because one, it's nostalgic, and two,
true,
I mean, it's just
exactly.
good.
It is solid, and if you need a quick lunch, hot pockets are totally the way to go. As long as you
Oh
got a
yeah.
microwave, you're good to go. Now, one that I have on my honorable mentions is one of the ones I wouldn't probably would not. try just because I'm not a huge like fan of fish. Is this one I found? It's a salmon pie. Have you heard of that one?
Fish pie. Have I heard of fish pie? Well, I am familiar with Gordon Ramsay,
True, true.
and he does act there. He has a YouTube channel, and he does
Okay,
make a fish pie on there that I would be willing to try. Now, I like fish,
right.
though it I can see how you could get it overly dry or overly fishy tasting,
True,
and it
yeah. I
just
feel like the
kill the whole
balance,
thing.
yeah, the
Yeah.
balance would be hard to find. Now this one it had just the one I had seen, it was it had it was like minced salmon with sour cream was this certain one. I don't know if that would be interesting. I probably wouldn't try it myself. Um, but now one that I did see that would be good would be a cheese and onion pie, or they call it a hominy pie. Have you heard of that one?
A hominy pie. I don't think I've actually heard it like named, but I think I've heard of those ingredients in a pie before.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
it's
when I was doing some research for this particular rye pie, I actually came up with one, which is actually partially on my list, but I'm not going to get into which part of that on my list yet.
right, right.
But it's a straight up tomato and cheddar pie.
Tomato and cheddar pie. Okay.
Y- Yeah.
Um, now what type of? Okay, so it's just like a traditional like a pie shape. That actually looks pretty good. That kind of now as far as with this one, the cheese and onion pie. That one it was a European pie, but it had cheddar cheese and sour cream. You can either do sour cream or cream cheese, and then it has onions, potato, and then it has like the pastry crust. So kind of like that, but that as far as just like cheese, onions, and potatoes, um, that all like that sounds pretty. It sounds like a solid pie. Um,
I'd try it.
yeah, for sure. Now, just another one as far as for like maybe like a breakfast would be like a that I had seen. It was a bacon and egg pie.
Yeah,
Um,
I've actually had one kind of like that. It was made with more like the flaky, what do they call it, like puff pastry,
mhm.
as opposed to the traditional pie crust.
So I guess is that kind of like a quiche? I guess would that be
I mean, it's along the same lines as a quiche, which I think technically a quiche is also a pie.
true? Yeah, I
Um,
didn't even think about that when I was coming up with the list, but that made me just now. That made me think of a quiche. Now quiche, I can get down with a good quiche.
oh yeah,
Um,
if it's prepared right, or like a oh, what do they call those things? Where you got to be like really quiet. Oh man, I can't believe I've totally spaced out on what they are.
so is it like a you said like a creme brulee?
No, a creme brulee
That's
is
like a dessert,
yeah,
right?
that's a dessert. It's like a custard with a sugar topping, but the sugar has been caramelized with like a blowtorch. Souffle, that's what I'm
Oh, a
thinking of.
souffle. Okay. Now that's normally is that normally sweet?
No, souffles are normally savory.
Souffles are savory. Okay.
No, I think they can be sweet.
Right, right. It's probably yeah, probably one of those double-sided things. But yeah, I've never really had like a traditional souffle myself.
From what I understand, as complicated as they are to make, I mean,
Yeah,
I
those yeah,
can't say
that's
I'm
like
surprised.
as far as like when you go to make one, that's when normally like in like the culinary world, that's like the ultimate. If you can make like a solid souffle, that's like the top one of the top things. If you can, if it's not, I guess, if it's not too runny, I guess. But now, as far as the like my last honorable mention that I had or that I had written down here, just one that I wouldn't really try myself, was a pork pie.
A pork pie.
So sometimes I think it has like an egg in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's roughly cut pork, and it's like jelly pork fat with a hot water crust, and it's normally served cold.
Mm-hmm. I've had one.
You've had a pork pie?
I have. And I mean, I like them, but
You're a
then
fan?
again, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to find something that I don't like. I mean, unless it's smothered
True.
in mayonnaise.
True. Yeah, I always remember. Yeah, that was one of the things that you were never a fan of when you were a kid is
Mm-mm.
mayonnaise. And I
Mm-mm.
think the what was it? The ingredients list, is that what got you? Like as far
Well,
as
it's not really what was in it. I don't really know what it is about mayonnaise, but it's like if I eat more than like a tablespoon of it, or if it's not like heavily mixed with something, the way it
mhm,
sits in my stomach, it just
upsets it.
instantaneously makes me sick.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, as as far as like the pork pie, that um, I guess where it's like cold, the only type of pie that I would really want served cold would just be like a dessert pie.
Well, it's think of like potted meat.
True. Yeah,
It's
it's not
it's
normally like heated up. Sometimes I guess that's true. It's kind of room temperature.
yeah, it's like
Um,
well, think of like stuffing a hot pocket with potted meat and maybe some like herbs, and there you go,
that's true.
nailed
Yeah,
it.
that's a pork pie. Gotcha.
Basically,
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, maybe just for like the fact that like might would be cool to make one, but as far as so, do you have any more honorable mentions? I guess before we get into our five.
those were my honorable mentions.
Okay. Well, did you wanna? I guess I'll. You want me to start, or you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you start? You kick off your rye five there.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start with the traditional because it'd be hard to have a five without it. It will. I guess I'll do a chicken pot pie because mine are in no particular order. But the chicken pot pie you get like the is it like peas and then also carrots
Carrots.
normally, green beans sometimes I think. Um,
Yeah, and then you've got the staple cream, which, by the way, that's my number three.
oh, okay. I figured it probably was on your list somewhere.
Yeah.
um,
Uh, this particular, there's so many variations of the chicken pot pie.
true.
Because you've also got like the chicken and dumpling pot pie.
Okay, that sounds
You've got your
incredible.
yeah, yes. Now that one I have made before, but you've also got like chicken and wild rice. But you've got the traditional, like you said, with the peas and carrots, the cream sauce with the buttery crust.
Yeah,
Now, for me, almost no matter how you go about making this thing, it has got to have that top dome
true.
because that
Over it.
it's that's really what makes it. Which while it can have that undercrust, if it doesn't have that dome, for me, it's just not as satisfying.
True. I feel like the top mixes in with it the best.
Yes.
Um, I don't know what it is. Whether I guess where it doesn't have like the ribbons like with the side, like the harder crust on the side. I feel like the
Hmm.
top is like a little softer than the rest of it. But yeah, you can't go wrong with the chicken pot pie, and I guess on the same level, kind of like with the hot pockets, you've got that banquet, like just that quick lunch if you need it. And as long as you got the microwave, you're good to go.
Now, of course, if you're gonna go on the banquet menu of pies, you've got your standard chicken pot pie, beef pot pie, turkey pot pie. There's even a veggie pot pie.
Is there really a vegetable? Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So so I guess if you yeah, if you don't for all the vegetarians that don't eat meat, you got even banquets got you covered.
Yeah, which it was funny because I've only ever seen this one time in one place, and it wasn't even here. It was I want to say it was in like Washington D.C., and I'm just like, what?
Really? Maybe
Why?
I guess the market maybe is um maybe higher up there. I guess down here you always need your meat. I guess. um,
Yeah,
but it's what's your number five?
my number five falls into the category, luckily, what we were just talking about just a few moments ago about that tomato and cheddar pie. And for me, throwing back to our pizza episode,
Okay.
because pizzas are pies,
That's true. That is
it's
true.
I've decided to put the margarita pizza pie
No
as my number
way.
5.
That was my number three.
Really?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
how did we manage that?
I know. And also, my number five was your number three.
Yes.
Um, but you can't go wrong with the tomato, the spinach, the feta, and then the mozzarella. Now, as far as, so if you had to make a margarita pizza, what sauce would you put on it?
Well, I do like the traditional flavors of the margarita, which of course is the marinara, the mozzarella, and the basil. That's just me.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. Um, but yeah, margarita pizzas.
Mm.
Now apparently there's a different, as far as in California, they normally have like a light sauce. I guess kind of like with what you were talking about, like a light marinara with like the olive oil.
Hmm.
Um, and now as far as I've wondered what is the difference between margarita and bruschetta? Because they're
And
very
bruschetta,
aren't they? They're super similar, right?
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, isn't bruschetta like tomatoes, olives, all that mixed together?
Is the olives in it? I guess that's the yeah, in the balsamic, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that balsamic's the big. I guess that's the big difference. I just always, as far as just wondered, as far because I know with the tomatoes and like basilish, they're both semi
And
like
if I'm not
kind of
mistaken,
similar.
isn't bruschetta more of a like a flatbread
On
as opposed
yeah,
to a pizza pizza?
that's true. Yeah, maybe or maybe you could put it in a pita or something. That would be like
Yeah.
um a pie kind of if you throw it in like in I guess in a pita. So it would be teetering on the line. But so on my number four, because also I learned that casseroles are also a pie.
Really?
Yeah, because as far as what, so if we look up here, what to designate like a pie, it's a would be like a shell and then like almost like a filling. Um, so if I guess if you think of that like with pizza, there is like if you do like a casserole, you can do like an outside and then fill it with your toppings as far as on it. So I would have you ever had a Philly cheesesteak casserole?
No. I've had Philly cheesesteak pizza. I've had Philly cheesesteak, but
So
not a
Philly
casserole.
cheesesteak casserole. So you do like it's kind of like I guess you could either do like a ground beef or you could do like a flank steak almost. And then like a peppers and onions. You would probably put mushrooms on it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't put mushrooms on mine, but
And that's
and
okay. It
then
takes all kinds.
true. And then you're like your I as far as the way that I think about it to do like a bread substitute would be do some like tater tots with it.
Okay. I can see
Um
that.
and so you can kind of like do that as like the bottom. So it's kind of reaching a little bit as far as with it. So there you could do like a biscuit. But it's kind of teetering a little bit, but it's still technically a casserole. Counts as a pie. So if when I seen that, I was like, I have to put the Philly cheesesteak casserole on there. Now what is so? What's your number four?
My number 4 is a mini handheld pie. It's called an empanada, and
Okay,
specifically a pork empanada.
a pork empanada. Okay, so what
Mm.
else do you put? Do you put in that? Is it just pork or?
I mean, you can really put whatever you want. I mean, once you've got the shell, you can put anything from shredded chicken. I mean, there's a lot of different variations of the empanada.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the Jamaican form of them.
Mm, okay.
Specifically, mine would be the Puerto Rican pork empanada. Um,
Puerto Rican
now
pork.
those,
Okay.
huh?
I was just saying like Puerto Rican pork. Because that's
Yes.
one thing I haven't really. I haven't really had myself. I've had Taco Bell has like the dessert empanadas. They have like it's like apple. I think that they
Hmm.
it's like an apple empanada. But I've never had a savory one. So that's one thing I'll have to try then.
It's good. Now I know some people who make these things like from scratch, and from scratch is so much different than going to like your local Dollar Tree and picking up like three or four of these things.
Right.
Which, in a pinch, it's worth it. But
If need be. I've had as far as with like just homemade. I've had off kind of off topic, but Belgian waffles directly like from Belgium.
that's cool.
Those were really good. Now I guess my number two um, is now this one it's an Italian dish, but it counts as a pie. Is a stromboli.
That counts as a pie.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
guess
guess it
with the
would. If pizza does, it would, wouldn't it?
true. Yeah. But like it's if it's got like sausage, mozzarella cheese, green peppers, and then it's got like a sourdough.
Now, as I recall, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So yeah, that's almost like a pull apart bread, but like a pull apart hot pocket bread.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's just a massive hot pocket. I guess is all a stromboli really is.
But man, they're
um,
good.
but yeah, especially with some marinara sauce, or some ranch. Um, those are really good. What's your number two?
My number two is it's a little bit interesting. It's a
Okay.
beef and potato jalette. Do you want me to spell that for you?
Yeah. Yes,
G
thank you.
A L E T T E.
Oh, okay.
Mmm. Now
Wow.
it's kind of it's basically your meat and potatoes kind of thing, but
Right.
it's think of like I don't want to go too far into that either because that's gonna give think beef like beef braised beef
Right.
with au gratin potatoes.
Okay, so is it kind of like a shepherd's pie in a way?
Kind of yes.
That's the scalloped potatoes right there. Yeah, and some chives too, of course.
Hmm. But it's good.
That
It's really good.
that sounds good. We'll have to try that. Now, as far as my number one um is a uh it's a Frito pie. Yeah, I'm sure you've had a Frito pie.
I do love a Frito pie, and if there was a number six on our list, that would have been number
Yeah,
six.
that's true. Of course, with some jalapenos, um, and then so you got Fritos, of course, and then I'll put like potatoes in mine with like the
Oh,
Fritos.
that's almost like if you think about the what were they the tacos that you could get at Taco Bell that had basically all that stuff in it. But
The
what was it?
beefy Frito burrito.
Yeah, add potatoes.
Yes,
Just do that
yes.
all the time, and that's basically it right there.
That's I. Did you know that Reddit bullied Taco Bell into bringing their potatoes back?
I can believe that. They shouldn't have taken them away.
I know. I
Well,
went
they
there
don't
like,
have pico de gallo anymore either, right?
yeah, that was one of them. There was something else that had left with it that was a big deal. Um, there was a few menu items they erased, and then they still
Hmm.
had the items in the store. Like they
Yep.
had got rid of like I think it was a shredded chicken burrito, and they still have shredded chicken.
The the mini shredded chicken quesadillas.
Yes,
Okay, so they still have those,
those are
but
the
what?
melts now, right?
Yes, but
Um,
they changed. They also the reason I think they changed the name of the things to begin with is they
mhm.
changed up the recipe for the sauce. So when they did that, it no longer tastes the same. It went from being one of the most amazing things I've ever eaten in my life to becoming one of the most horrible things I've ever tried to vomit back out.
True, true. Yeah, they were. Yeah, the melt is nowhere near what the mini quesadilla was. But did you know, I didn't realize that you could do this, but you can get the big quesadilla and sub it out. Like you can get a chicken quesadilla and sub it out for shredded chicken.
I didn't know you. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I think we did know that because we did that once. But
But it's
that
still
was
not the same. It's not $1. It's not like you're in a pinch. You
no.
need to go buy. And you have like $3 and right. And yeah,
Well,
now you got to tell them to do it. And like,
it's well, it's like we yeah, exactly. But we used to order the Mexi melts, and of course they had to get rid of pico de gallo, and now you can't even order like just a regular cheesy roll up, add beef, add pico, and you got yourself a Mexi melt. But people got wise to that, and they're like,
I didn't
uh
even
oh.
think about that. I never even edited my cheesy roll up. Oh my gosh.
But you could.
Um,
No, now it doesn't matter. You can't.
True. That's true. Now, did you have any other like honorable mentions before you do like your number before you do your number one?
Taco pie.
Taco pie. Okay.
And this one is a double entendre for us because going back, many, many years ago, we used to watch a television program by the name of Aqua Teen Hunger Force,
Yes.
which is where I first heard of the taco pie.
Uh,
Yeah, there it is. There is the turkey, the robot turkey. Taco
um,
pie.
so what is in a taco pie? Like what
That
is?
that can really be up to you.
Well, that's
About
true.
3 years ago, well, we had, I think you were here actually. We had Thanksgiving here at the house,
Yeah,
and I made a taco pie specifically as a joke because of this.
that is true.
And I think what I did is I used tortilla, like the soft tortilla shells,
Hmm.
and then I stuffed it with taco meat, cheese, and then I put like sour cream, lettuce, tomatoes, and onions in the thing, and
Hmm.
then put more shredded cheese on top of it.
Yes,
And that was my taco pie.
that sounds incredible. I'll have to try one of these again. That looks like yeah, because that's it's pretty and how many different things you can taco is crazy. Because here recently the big thing has been the taco pizza, which
Oh yeah.
I think we did get into that on our last episode. Um, there's adding our number ones two together, Frito taco pie.
Frito taco pie.
But now, is there any other ones you wanted to add?
I've just
Okay.
got my number one left.
Oh, I thought that was the taco
No,
pie.
that was just another honorable
Oh,
mention
another
I was
honorable
going to
mention.
throw in at the
Oh,
end.
that's all right. Yeah, let's hear it.
But my number one, my absolute favorite, and will always be my absolute favorite, is the shepherd's pie.
Ooh, okay. I'm glad you got to it. It's almost like the chicken pot pie for me. It's like it's kind of hard to have a whole pie, a savory pie list without the shepherd's pie. Now, I that's one that I have never had
Oh no.
because the topping is yeah, it's like that mashed potato. But I
Mm,
feel
it
like,
is.
and I think we have talked about it on the Rye Five before, and I think this is more of like an adult meal, like
It
versus like a.
it is. Yeah, it's definitely something. No, I think they make versions of it that are, for lack of a better word, shitty. Um, for younger people,
Yeah,
and they are
right.
just not up to par. And if you go into your freezer section, you can find a frozen version of the shepherd's pie. But again, for lack of a better word, it's a shittier version of the pie.
Of the real thing.
Yeah, you want the real thing. So if you really want to try shepherd's pie, you need to go to a restaurant that works in specifically Irish or European foods and order one.
That's
Now, the
true.
first time I've ever had it was at O'Charlie's back probably 15 odd years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So
And pretty much ever since I had that version of it, nothing tops this shepherd's pie. But I have made it myself as well at home.
I was gonna say maybe that would also be like the other if you can't find it out, maybe the other better way to do it rather than buying it, or maybe find like a grandma's kitchen. I feel like a
If you could
grandma's
do that,
kitchen
you'd probably be better off, to be
could
quite
probably
honest.
whip this up the best.
Now, I will tell you now, just so you don't make the same mistake I did once, make sure if you go to like Kroger or Walmart and you pick up the red wine that you're going to need, because it will call for red wine,
hmm
do not accidentally get red wine vinegar.
Ooh,
I made that mistake. While it doesn't it doesn't make it super sour, it makes it too sweet.
really?
Yes.
The way that the vinegar works, that is crazy. But I'm definitely gonna have to try this for sure. Maybe we can. I had mentioned to Corey, and also we are gonna clue you in as far as maybe trying this at some point, as like maybe another show or something is on the stuff that we need to like, or the stuff that we say we need to try it. Put it on the
Make it.
list. Do Snide Kitchen. That
Oh, what a sales pitch to me and the rest of the world at this point.
exactly. But I think that that's all we have here to add on for Savory Pies. Well, most make sure you like and subscribe on the channel, and put your five below. But most importantly, stay snide and stay rye. Bow! Do you think they watch the videos at the bottom
At the bottom, what about the top or the side?
or behind?
Hmm. They
You be
should if they don't.
you be the judge.